Now, this right here, this is what happens when people stop repeating talking points and start asking one simple question. What did we actually get? Now, I want you to watch how fast everything changes after that.
Tell us your name and briefly what's on your mind. Where's the niece?
Hey, yo, as I look around this room, if you're 35 years old or younger, raise your hand. 4 people. So here's the thing. Y'all in trouble. Yesterday you had Al Green up here talking about we need a Secretary of Reconciliation, and then that's going to include what he said was reparations, which, by the way, wasn't reparations. Reparations is more than a check, but the very first thing it is a check. And come this year during the midterms and in 2028, if you don't have our check, you won't get no vote. No check, no vote. Yeah, I know that ain't what you want to hear, but that's what's happening. All of y'all in here, with all due respect, you're beautiful, but you're old. You're not talking to the youth. You don't know how to talk to the youth. You're trying to tell us what to do. We're not having it no more. So if you want our vote, you got to come with our paper. We're not scared of Trump. We're not scared of anybody. Biden is a racist. Trump is a racist. Kamala is a racist. And if you don't have our money, you don't get our vote. Yeah, who are you? Oh, all right, yeah, so like I was saying, I'm going to land my plane right there, but the Democrats are no better than the Republicans. No check, no vote. Y'all take care. And somebody get my man a tissue. He need a tissue.
All right, so there's obviously a great deal of stuff here that we disagree with, for sure. But let's pause. Let's make sure nobody misses what he just said. This isn't a debate. This isn't a suggestion. He's saying if you don't have our check, no vote. You know, translation is pretty clear and simple. Stop assuming the vote is automatic. Stop asking for loyalty up front. Bring something tangible first. At least those are the things that I can break down beyond just the surface level of what he was asking for. And notice something else. He wasn't trying to protect either side. You know, that's fair. Democrats called out. He called out the Republicans too. Because the frustration isn't about party anymore, at least for him. It's about results versus promises. And this is the part that the left hates dealing with. You know, other side, we can talk about it all day. You know, the left, not so much. Because their whole strategy is built on emotion, narrative, and repeat. Once people start asking, where's the outcome, the whole formula starts breaking down. Now, I want you to keep that same energy because this next clip is what happens when pressure hits someone who's been controlling the conversation for years.
In terms of our report for the year, and then we're going to go on with the program. Our young people are rehearsing, getting ready for this afternoon is our youth day. I heard somebody talk about young people that tell them to just stay around. They're going to see 2 people, afternoon, all of the youth in there. And I don't know, but you get provocateurs because anybody that is talking to somebody younger than them holding the mic, then you know that they paid agents. And if you're in the room, if you don't like me saying that, I'll say it again. Because you cannot get reparations without putting people in office that's going to pay them. So talk that ignorance somewhere else. You know, people talking about we have been for all of our existence fighting for reparations, made every candidate pledge to it. You cannot get reparations unless you elect folk that's going to pay it. Who you going to pay yourself? So you can't, at one hand, say, don't vote for everybody, they racist, but I want reparations. Who going to pay you? So either you paid or you stupid or both. I mean, I don't see nobody standing up. I didn't see whoever it was, but yeah, okay. I was at college and the guy stood up Talking about, I don't believe in all that nonviolent stuff. Y'all need to get out the way and da-da-da-da, and da-da-da-da. And all you punks, I said, hold it with the punk stuff. I said, because you got one punk out. You go to second punk, you're going to get the best nonviolent whipping you ever got in your life. Because I'm not scared of the...
Yeah, let's slow this down. That's Al Sharpton. Excuse me, at his own event, his stage, his audience, and he was previously asked, where are the checks? You know, just a direct question. And you watch what he did. He didn't say, here's what we've accomplished, here's what's coming. He immediately shifts the focus, calls the guy a provocateur, raises his voice, talks about discipline, and talks about movement. If you ask me, that's not an answer. That's somebody trying to maintain some control there. You know what I mean? Because if you can't control a room, you don't have to answer the question. And this is where the leftist activist playbook shows up every time, right? When results aren't there, they pivot to tone, respect, intentions. Anything except the outcome. But the conversation splits completely because not everybody agrees on what the goal should be.
Let's see Al Sharpton's psychological warfare against black people.
They're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the country July 4th. But that's not our celebration. We were slaves then. And they celebrate signing the Declaration of Independence 1776. We were not even emancipated until 1863. So I don't know what everybody getting ready for a celebration.
You know why, Al Sharpton? You know why? Because it is no longer 1863. It is no longer 1963. We are in 2026. I detest anyone who constantly tries to make black people reject being an American, celebrating being an American. Yes, our country has a history of participating in slavery. Yes, our country has a history of disenfranchisement. And our ancestors fought extremely hard to be where we are today in 2026. So why would I denounce and reject the country that my ancestors fought so hard for us to be part of? It is extremely clear that people like Al Sharpton wants the black community to hate this country. You can love this country and still be critical of it. I believe it was James Baldwin who said that because I love my country is the reason why I perpetually criticize it. You can still be part of American history. You are American history. You do not have to separate yourself from these celebrations. And if you continue to listen to people like Al Sharpton, you will be miserable and oppressed for the rest of your life.
Well, at least she's responding to something specific. You know, the idea that black Americans shouldn't even celebrate America's 250th anniversary. Her answer, hey, I'm celebrating it. So now you got two completely different directions. One side saying, run us what's old. Then you got the other side over there saying, I'm claiming this country as mine anyway. And this is where the left starts losing control of the narrative again, because they rely on a single unified message. But now people thinking differently in public, loudly at this point. And once that unity cracks, you can't package the message in the same way anymore. And then, excuse me, we have this last clip that takes all the talking points away completely.
Hi friends, I'm Delicia Ballinger, and I am an independent journalist and mother from Memphis, Tennessee. I walked away from the Democratic Party after I realized our values no longer aligned once I was fired from an all-black news publication here that I worked for almost 10 years. President Trump announced that he was bringing the National Guard to Memphis. It was my job and duty to cover those stories. And of course, as always, by journalistic standards, to always tell the truth, no matter from what sides. If you didn't like it, if you liked it, it was my job to be able to cover that, and that's what I did. But it wasn't until I made a video, and this video was made on my own time. And it was from a mother experience because I live in these communities where it was going to be affected and be impacted. And I realized this one particular day when I'm actually walking out to my mailbox and it was extremely quiet, which was a normal thing in my neighborhood because I was used to gunshots and other things happening around the neighborhood. For once, it was actually quiet and I could hear the birds sing. So I just made a video about that, just sharing my experience and thanking Trump. The video literally blew up overnight. I wasn't prepared for it, but it did. And a lot of people had a lot of things to say about it. It was like instantly the Black community turned on me because I thanked Trump for it. And not only that, the publication that I worked for was totally against what I said, all because I thanked Trump in the video. From that point going forward, they wanted me to take the videos down. They gave me an ultimatum, but ultimately I wasn't given that chance because by the following day, everything that I was assigned with was taken away. And I was told pretty much, bye. But from that point going forward, it was my job and duty to just make people aware that the media lies because they do. Why should I be fired for actually telling the truth and showing that the president actually did make a difference in my neighborhood? I then started to do my research and look further and further into the truth when you're talking about President Trump and wanting to know more about the things that he's done. And I realized from there that he's actually done some great actionable things for America. And I never really understood the hate. The more I read, the more I actually started to like him. Crazy thing about it all was that I actually did want to meet the president, but never in my wildest dreams did I think that something like that would happen. Just last month on March 23rd, President Trump came to Memphis to basically show his accomplishments for the Memphis Safe Task Force. And I wanted to be there. And I got that opportunity. I had a chance to meet the 45th and 47th President of the United States. And I was able to be at the round table to share my story of what it was like being here in Memphis and sharing some examples of my life and how the Memphis Safe Task Force made a difference in my neighborhood. I'm super, super grateful. And really, I'm actually thankful for the Democratic Party, for them showing their true selves, because now I was able to walk away from that plantation and have a mind of my own and think for myself. And it's been one of the best decisions I could have ever made. MAGA and the Republican Party and just the whole right side in general has been so welcoming and so loving. And we've been having some of the most amazing conversations, things that I felt like I should have known by me considering myself an educated Black woman, things that I should have known. But even with that, I've been having the experience of learning more. And I'm so thankful for now being on the right side and having an open mind. So yeah, walking away from the Democratic plantation has been one of the best decisions I could have ever made. And I suggest you guys to really get inside of your books, because what took for me was action. But I know that it takes more than that. Read your history and learn. And please know, as a person, again, that comes from the media, that the media does lie. And it's really up to you to learn the truth. Get in your books, read, and know, just like I did. And hopefully, I'll see you on that right side. It's time to walk away, you guys.
Now, this isn't theory. She's laying out what her environment was like, what changed, and why she's seeing things differently now. That's her experience. And that's the part that hits the hardest, because the left can't debate someone's experiences. They can do that with ideas all day. But the struggle when people start, the struggle for them is when people start pointing to real life outcomes and just saying, look, this is what worked for me. They can't deal with that. Because now you can't just dismiss it as misinformation or narrative. You actually had to explain it. So here's what you just watched clearly. A younger voice saying no more automatic loyalty. A longtime leader avoiding a direct answer leader. A completely different perspective rejecting the premise. And someone making a decision based on what they say changed in real life. Now, that's not unity. That's people going in completely different directions out loud. And once that starts happening, the old way of controlling the conversation, it doesn't hit the same anymore. So if you made it to the end of this video, I want you to comment, no more promises. Yeah, not even for the algorithm, for me. That way I know. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, y'all be safe. Go check out somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. And I can't remember the person who commented, but someone messaged, well, not messaged, they commented under one of the videos yesterday saying that take heed to that statement that I always say. They called their mom, I believe. I could be getting this, all the details come a little mixed up, but apparently his mother had failed. She's a grandmother. She's older, around like the 84, 85. And yeah, he randomly called to check on her and it saved her life. So yeah, do that, y'all. Check on somebody today. You never know. Peace.